Most folks consider themselves lucky if they manage to get really good at one particular thing, but some exceptionally talented stars seem to have been bestowed with an endless supply of creative energy. While the celebs we're about to discuss are predominantly known for their acting abilities, their contributions to the visual arts are just as impressive. So let's dive in and take a gander at the artwork of some of the most well-known names in show business. Sylvester Stallone. This actor has been an icon of the film industry for many decades, but very few people seem to know he's dabbled in painting for almost as long as he's been performing on the big screen. His abstract, vividly colorful, and somewhat whimsical paintings may not be the finest works of art ever created, but they fit his equally offbeat persona quite fittingly. The Rocky star says he uses his paintings as a way to visualize his thoughts. He's even used the medium as a means of depicting some of his most famous movie characters before stepping into the roles. Miley Cyrus. The former Hannah Montana star enjoys creating collages and sculptures when she's not pumping out pop hits. Her works have been described as Southern outsider art, and she's even had her pieces featured in the prestigious Art Basel in Miami, Florida, as part of designer Jeremy Scott's 2014 New York Fashion Week show. Lucy Liu. Best known for her roles in the films Charlie's Angels and Kill Bill, as well as in the TV series Elementary, Lucy Liu is also an exceptionally talented abstract artist. Liu has been painting for decades under the alias Yu Ling, but recently she's put her creations on exhibit at art galleries across the globe, finally attaching her real name to her fantastic works. Dennis Hopper. This actor and notorious Hollywood wild man is best known for his roles in films like Speed, Rebel Without a Cause, and Easy Rider, but he's also a talented painter with a distinct style. He spent time studying under Andy Warhol back in the day and credited him with giving him his unique vision into the world of art in the 60s. David Bowie. While Bowie was more of a musician than an actor, he memorably appeared in films like The Man Who Fell from Earth, Just a Gigolo, and Jim Henson's Labyrinth. Before becoming the face of glam rock, David studied art and design. He continued to create works of art until his death a few years ago. His art has been said to evoke a sense of depth and surrealism, which isn't surprising considering his image as an avant-garde shape-shifting trendsetter. Jim Carrey. Almost always recognized for his work in comedy, Carrey has also appeared in a few dramatic film roles, including Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and The Number 23. While he is without question one of the most prolific comics and actors of our time, Carrey is quite an accomplished artist as well. The Canadian-born entertainer has been drawing and painting since he was a child and has had several art exhibitions over the years that show off his skills with the paintbrush. Not everyone is a fan of his art, however. The Guardian's Jonathan Jones once called him an astonishingly bad painter, adding that his work gives amateur painters a bad name. On the other hand, American art critic Jerry Saltz called Carrey definitely an artist, comparing his work to that of the respected cartoonist R. Crumb. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like, and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. And stick around to find out about celebrities and their art. This video is brought to you by Masterworks. The wealthiest people in the world have used art to grow their wealth for generations. And as the first and only art investment platform, Masterworks allows you to do the same. Masterworks uses technology and complex finance to make this once exclusive asset class investable. Since launching in 2019, they've returned over 30% to their investors every year. Masterworks is an awesome platform and a great way to diversify your investment portfolio. Click the link in the description to start investing today. Jemima Kirk. You might know Jemima Kirk from her role as Jessa on HBO's Girls, but long before she was an actress, she received her bachelor's in fine art painting at the prestigious Rhode Island School of Design. She only got involved in acting after her producer friends needed an actress to work for free. It's clear her fellow actors have served as an inspiration for her paintings. For example, in this portrait, Kirk painted her Girls co-star Allison Williams on the day of her wedding. James Franco. While Franco has been in the news lately for a sex scandal, it's also worth mentioning that in addition to acting and directing, Franco is also a pretty decent painter. The Spring Breakers star's artwork has been showcased in some of the world's most prestigious galleries, including the Tate Modern in London and the Gagosian Gallery in LA. Viggo Mortensen. Most people know this star for his role as Aragorn in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but he's also a reasonably prolific musician, poet, and painter. Mortensen has also published a few books featuring his own writing and has founded a publishing company to distribute works not suitable for traditional publishing houses. Marilyn Monroe. Perhaps the most famous blonde bombshell in cinema history, Marilyn could do it all. She could sing, dance, act, and apparently also paint. One of her most striking pieces was a watercolor rose she painted for the late John F. Kennedy. Anthony Hopkins. He's been called one of the greatest living actors of our time, but Sir Anthony Hopkins is also a pretty decent painter. His artwork has routinely fetched a pretty penny at auction. If you want to get your hands on one of Hopkins's paintings, expect to shell out anywhere between $4 to $80,000. James Dean. While he didn't live long enough to create a ton of paintings, the art James Dean made before his premature death at age 24 was pretty spectacular. Jane Seymour. Most people remember her for her role as the titular star of Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. But even though she's an award-winning actress, Seymour is also an avid visual artist, designer, and writer. Most of her paintings depict serene nature scenes. She even sells an instructional DVD geared towards beginner painters. Johnny Cash. While he had very little free time between touring and recording in the studio to do much art, the man in black loved to create visual artwork. For years, Johnny doodled, sketched, and eventually painted. He never did so professionally, nor did he think his work would ever appeal to the fine art world, but since his passing, his works have been sold for large sums at auction and remain in high demand. Tony Bennett. You might remember that line in Basquiat about Tony Bennett being a painter. Well, apparently that wasn't just a joke. Bennett, in addition to some of his more formal works, has done quite a few quick sketches for fans who have approached him for an autograph. Pierce Brosnan. Besides being a retired James Bond, Brosnan is also a trained and pretty decent commercial artist. He often donates the proceeds of his art sales to charity as well. Tony Curtis. While his acting career spanned 6 decades, appearing in iconic films like 1957's Sweet Smell of Success and Some Like It Hot, Tony Curtis was also passionate about painting throughout his life. His work with visual art was so incredible that one of his pieces is now included in the permanent collection at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. Frank Sinatra. Old Blue Eyes enjoyed working with oils, and although he was pretty private about his art, some of his pieces were pretty good. Rumor has it he got started painting pictures of clowns before broadening his scope from there. Prince Charles. As surprising as it might sound, Prince Charles of the Royal House of Windsor also fancies himself a painter. Most of his works consist of rural and village landscapes drawing inspiration from his homeland of Great Britain. Charles's muted watercolors have been described as bearing many similarities to the plein air movement, a method that contrasts with studio painting and academic rules and results in pieces that evoke a more predetermined look. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is an avid art collector, but he's also done a few paintings himself, taking cues from his favorite artist, Jean-Michel Basquiat. Some have called Depp's works unsettling and somber, and his works usually portray famous people who have inspired him, like Jack Kerouac, Marlon Brando, and his ex-wife, Vanessa Paradis. In fact, one of his pieces graced the cover of Paradis's 2007 album, Divandil. Patti Smith. While most people know her as a singer, songwriter, and poet, Patti Smith is also fond of creating art. She's been drawing and taking photos since the late 60s, and some of her black and white snapshots have even been featured in places like the Pompidou Center and the Museum of Modern Art in New York. Now it's time to hear from you. Can you think of any other celebrities who are great at art? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.